Right guys, Mark Crossfield here with Dan. We're inside at Torquay Golf Club because the course is closed outside. The weather here in Devon has been absolutely hopeless. We're going to do SM7. These are the wedges I am gaming. Let's talk to you about the ones I've got and how I make the choice around what wedges I go for, because even Vokey, as well as all the other companies, often use a term that's such a selling term, I think, when it comes to wedges, when me and Dan have been discussing it, and it's not really a term we would ever really use that much. I'll show you what I mean. Let's get stuck in. So look, Dan, I've got my pitching wedge from my set.
Yes.
Okay, so not a Vokey. This is a Titleist MB blade. This is just the pitching wedge from the set of clubs I use. I'm going to hit one out there kind of 90%. How I'd hit a pitching wedge, just kind of a distance. That's carried 117 yards. My pitching wedge is about a 120 club. I can get it going 125, 130 if I jump on it, but if it's just a normal way of playing it, it's about a 120 yard shot. My first choice of wedge is built around this number. So this is my SM7. Again, hitting that at kind of 80%, carrying 107, 10 yards less. There's my first decision of a wedge I will choose. It's there on the bottom, 50 degrees. That number, along with other things that we'll come to, has to match in with my set. And then I want something going around 80, 85 yards. That's carrying 83. So there's my next choice, 56 on the bottom. And then I want something mainly for around the greens, but if I had to hit it up in the air and get it to stop, I'd use this one. That's going 78 yards, so around the same distance if I give it some different height though. 60 degree. So when it comes to me choosing wedges to start me off, that is the key. They're the numbers I want to be hitting. I want them falling in to those brackets. So the first thing we're getting with SM7 is we're getting this kind of progressive centre of gravity, lining it up more with where the strike is on the face that SM6s and now SM7s have done for a while, just a slight change in SM7. To be honest with you, I don't really feel that, but I'm glad it's there, because again, lining that centre of gravity up with where I'm going to strike the ball is going to help me get those numbers we just talked about there in the right place. So what's the biggest term when it comes to wedges that the manufacturers got writing in their marketing spiel?
Spin.
All day long, isn't it?
All day long.
How much, don't look at the launch monitor, what club did you just hit?
That's the 56.
Okay, and it went 92 yards.
Yeah.
How much spin did it have on it?
I wouldn't know.
Exactly. Yet it's the most marketed term when it comes to wedges. I wouldn't have been able to tell you the spin number on any of my last pitch shots. I would be using a combination of my control of descent angle with knowing that I get X amount of spin subject to the situation I'm hitting from as my playing choice.
Spin numbers with wedges, when I've done my testing, is they fluctuate an awful lot.
And that's the key point here. When it's marketed at us that spin is the key, I also find it almost impossible to measure spin because it fluctuates so much with a wedge, because you've got so much deflection on an impact of the club with so much loft. Probably best if I cleaned them as well, would help.
It would help.
It's something that when you get out on the golf course, I'm seeing shots measured by myself with wedges deviating by over 1,000 revs per minute, subject to wet ball, dry balls, out semi-roughs, different strike conditions, as the ball scrapes, grips and slips or doesn't up the face. I think the spin is a term that the amateurs latch onto, so the marketers latch onto it to try and sell. I mean, look at even the logos on it, look. It's there because of the grooves, which then reflects in people's minds spin and control. How many shots are you hitting that spin back to the hole compared to spin away from the hole? Well, I have not done a measurement over the years, and I couldn't really tell you the answer, but... Well,
I mean, when we play, okay, so we're always trying to knock spin off, so we're always trying to go with the easier shot into the hole, should we say, or not hit it quite as hard, because we don't want it spinning off. Whereas a lot of amateurs that I see, when they see spin on the green, they love it. They think it's fantastic. They've moved it 10 paces back from its pitch mark. That's great. For us, or for a lot of good players, they don't want to see that.
Yeah,
they don't want to be putting it behind the pin and spinning it back because they can't control that.
Absolutely. So when you put SM7 down by the ball, thoughts on looks?
Vokey have always made a fantastic looking wedge.
Yeah.
For me, I wasn't using Vokey for a long time. I used a number of different wedges from Mizuno's to Callaways. But I'm looking at lots of different things, to be honest with you, when it comes to a wedge. I'm certainly not looking for spin.
Go on, what are you looking at? So I'm looking at obviously distances, which I've already explained. I would look at the looks. It needs to look a certain way.
Absolutely. So before I even come to looking at distances, lofts and things like that, or even the bounce and the grinds at this point, I'm looking at what does it look like when I put it down. You know, how big is the face, because some wedges can start looking quite big when I look down on them. I'm also looking at the front edge as well. So there's some companies that make them quite flat along the front, and they also make them quite rounded. I'm looking for something kind of in between. I don't want it too rounded, but I also don't want it too flat.
Oh my word, it's Coach Lockie's doing
There he is.
Hello.
He could hear his nose was twitching. People talking about wedges.
Short game.
So I would also be choosing on things like leading edge, colourways, top lines and shapes, those kind of ideas.
You said as well that you like that progressive look, probably going from, I mean, these are going to go rusty at some stage, aren't they? But you said about the change from your pitching wedge in your set. Again, very, very similar, aren't they, in the fact that they're same colour.
Yes.
Which is probably quite a nice thing from...
I mean, that has two ways of going about it. That changes from year to year to me. What I do like is I like the top end, the top part of it to blend naturally. I don't want it to be like chunky and then all of a sudden really thin. Which is where I think people get a bit mixed up when it comes to wedges. So we've got 3 different finishes in those now: tall chrome, brushed steel and jet black. Jet blacks would look nice. And the other big thing with Vokey that can't be ignored, which some of the other manufacturers don't try as hard, and I think you've got to give Vokey respect for this, is the variations on loft and bounce and grind combinations. That's why I think it's always advertised as one of the best wedges on tour. Or most used, because it obviously has enough options for every quirky little style of play.
I mean, I've been into, as you have as well, but we've been into the tour vans, and the players will walk in one week and want a bit taken off here and a bit taken off there, and I think they've probably taken that on board when they come to their design and
got bored of doing it on the hop and want to just have those heads ready.
Absolutely right.
Totally.
And also, golfers out there want to play with that. They want to be using the same club as Jordan Spieth, and why is he taking that a little bit off the edge? So I think Vokey have done that very well in their wedge making.
I think that's a good point. Where you can look often as an amateur, I think almost too much into how much is removed here and the thickness of the sole, those kind of ideas. It can really help you as well if you understand how this affects different lies. So this is my 60 degree from this lie, which is kind of close to semi-rough, these mats, because you get a good past my fingernails worth of nap of the grass. That can get me hitting balls up here. That doesn't really make much difference what's going on as this club comes in to hit the ball. I just step forward a few paces, that's half of my fingernail now, so that will start to affect how that club sits on the floor. Compared to obviously if I go on the real hard pan line, which is this strike board, absolutely I'm going to be so anal and kind of attention really to how this club is being moved away at the back, how thick the sole is or not, what kind of bounces I've got. And then if I've only got obviously one bounce, because I'm not going to have 60 degrees in millions of different bounces in my set, I need to be very aware that this lie of club, or when it's on this lie, I can't sit the clubs in the same way that I might be able to when it's on this kind of lie. So it's understanding the many options and how they can help you, as well as trying not to get too lost in that, there's so many. Which is where I actually think wedge fitting is kind of maybe one of the most underlooked parts of custom fitting out there at the minute, because lots of people can get a lot of advice on what kind of bounces, grinds might help them in different situations, so they understand to stop trying to, when they're on the really tight lies, opening the club up and exposing ridiculous amounts of bounce by doing so. I think SM6 to SM7, I don't see that there'll be a massive rush out, because it's not a massive move, but if you're looking for new wedges, I would definitely give these a go. I mean, you can't not try Vokeys if you're in the wedge department, can you? It's just the one that everyone talks about. Obviously I'm gaming them this year for obvious reasons, my connections through Titleist. My wedge game can be pretty shocking at best. So if there's ever going to be a test for them, this year will be it, won't it?
It will be.
We've just done a video and not had a competition, Darren.
Well, let's get it done.
I'm a bit tired.